Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I would just walk you through what I do on my VG-800 in a way that explains why it's become my new favorite pedal. I was big on the GT1000, then I was big on the GX100, but because of the way that I've integrated pedals into how I do my one-man gigs, there's some cool things that I do. I like to learn songs in the original key, and then because my voice is quite a bit lower than, you know, the guys from the 70s and 80s and whatnot, and even the pop guys of today, I'm more of a baritone to, I think it's soprano, the one above it. I'm somewhere in the middle. So I learn songs in the original key, and then I like to transpose my guitar so that I never have to learn it in a new key. I don't want to have to double the work. I just set up the pedal and just show you a few things. You know, maybe you don't know much about this pedal. Looking at it, you can see it's built in that GT1000 core sort of frame. You've got a tuner. If you press these two together, if you press these two together, you bypass the effects. And then if we go into the effects, you can see this is very reminiscent of the GT1000, except we've now got this instrument block there. And just below it there, if I turn it on, you'll be able to see what it is. That's your normal input. So you could plug a normal guitar in and a GK guitar in, and then depending on how you've got that all set up, you could necessarily even, you could actually even have two guitars running if you really wanted. I rely very much on that instrument block, which is the GK pickup guitar. You know, let me just scroll around here, you'll see what I mean. You've got foot volume, you've got a sender return. Nice little feature about this, I set mine to branch out, and then even when my tuner's on, it's still sending a signal out, and that goes straight into my VE500 vocal effects. So what's quite cool about that is I can be playing a chord without you hearing my guitar, but I'm using that chord to tune my vocals. It's nice for like vocoder stuff and just harmony stuff, you know, like sometimes when I get to the end of a song, the song fades out and I just want to play one more chorus with harmonies and stuff. Nice little trick to that. And then you can see the two pickups then unite over here. We got noise suppressor, compressor. This is a clean sound, so obviously I've got my compressor on. Distortion, I've got transparent amp. Noise suppressor, I've got a couple of EQ units. I've got a graphic EQ. Chorus, delay, reverb, delay number 2, and then master. So yeah, like I said, you can see it's very reminiscent of the GT1000 brain, except it's now got this instrument block. And now to get to that instrument block, we go to this button here. And now this is kind of like your GR55, some of the VG stuff. What was the other one? The GP10. They all had this built into it. And then you can check here. So you pick what your instrument is. So you can see here it's on the electric guitar. But let's go right to the start. What could we change that as? Acoustic guitar. A dual guitar. Electric bass. VO guitar. I can't remember exactly what that is. You got some synth stuff, the GR300. That's that very old school classic Boss or Roland synth guitar, and that's it. Nothing too over the top. But then now if we go into electric guitar, you can see now we start with classic Strat, modded Strat. I just like the modded Strat. I feel like the palm mutes are a little bit more real sounding in this. Tele, Les Paul, P90, 335, L4, Rick, Lips pickups, wide ring, bright humbucker, fretless, and that's it. So again, for this, I leave it on Strat. And then you can also choose where you want your pickup to be. You know that position 2 and position 4 are really authentic sounding. And you got volume, tone, instrument level, normal mix, so you can mix your normal guitar in, and that's that. Now that's one part of my sound. Just go out of here, go back in. That's one part of my sound. So the next part is the alternative tuning. Currently it's set to off, but you can see a -1, so that is a semitone lower. And this can go all the way 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Go all the way to an octave down and up, I think. Yeah, or you can use it to define it. You can make some custom tunings. You got a 4th Nashville style, D model, drop A, drop B, couple of drops, open A, open G, open E, open D, and that's that. So that's what I was talking about how I learn in the original key, and then using the GK technology, I can then just transpose to whatever key we are in. Strings, you can then do some really interesting stuff, but I don't bother too much about this. Every single string has got a level as well as a pan. So if you were doing some synth stuff, or maybe some interesting acoustic or clean stuff, you could pan some strings left and right. There's the 6 string, 7 string. You can see you've even got a built-in EQ, very basic, low and high, low mid, high mid, low cut, high cut, noise switch, noise gate switch, threshold, release, and that's it. So that technology is something I rely very much on for my gigs. So that's why this has become my sort of like dream pedal, if you will, because it's got the GT1000 sound, which I like. And the thing about, there were other pedals that could do the GK stuff, like the SY1000 could do it, the GR55 could do it, the GP10 could do it, but none of them you could load impulse responses in. Whereas now, speaker type, there's some of my favorite ML Sound Labs that I've got, and there's the Ola. Those are the only 3 I've got on, because those over time have become my favorite. The Freeman, the Bogner, and the Ola one. But for my clean sound, I've just left it on original. And then you might be asking, okay, cool, that sounds interesting, but how does it all work? Thanks to the technology of today and the way that things have moved forward, we now get cables like this. As you can see, are just two stereos. And then that plugs into here on the back. Is your GK in as well as a GK out, your normal guitar in. You got a stereo effects loop, stereo output. I use the phones out though. And then the other side of said cable goes into one of these. You can see over there, there's a jack. And that is your pickup system. So you no longer use your built-in guitar pickups unless you plug out the jack into the normal pickup over here. But for me, that is my ideal setup right there. I then take that sort of technology and I go one step further, and I use a woody jack, or I've got the woody through. I'll put a picture down there. I use the woody through 6, and what that does is send a MIDI to every one of my pedals on my board, and then my iPad connects to the woody through over Bluetooth in real time while my backtrack is playing. It will send commands like change this to distortion. It also sets the BPM for every song. It will put delay on this. It'll turn on my delay on my vocal effects. It'll turn the vocoder on. It'll then click this over to solo when it needs to. So I've done all that homework to basically just make it as simple as possible. Even though it sounds really complicated, when you take it one step at a time, you get your guitar right, then you hook it up to an iPad, then you tell your iPad to control your pedal, then you tell your iPad to control your pedal plus your vocal effects. It really becomes an amazing piece of technology. And maybe you guys would like to hear some sounds. Alright, so I'll just show you some of the sounds. Now obviously I don't change any of this when I perform live, my iPad does. But here is, like, it doesn't even matter where my switch is, or I'll even turn my volume down, because everything is coming out of that, the GK pickup. And let me run through my clean. Same sound, one semitone lower. And so on and so forth. You can even go all the way to 4 notes down. And then I've also got a couple of D tunes here. This would be drop D. And then I've also got drop C. And then I've been working on a new project recently where I'm actually having to go up a note or two. So this would be one above, so this would be what? F. That's an E minor chord, but it's actually now an F minor chord. And then I've even even got a +2 happening at this point in time. And then, yeah, you might be wondering about things like some overdrive. I've currently got it set on the front pickup. So that would be as if my switch was there, you know. And we've even got some overdrive, and this is in standard tuning. And then suddenly your vocalist goes, I need to actually be 2 notes lower. And then you go, no problem. And then you go back to your drive. And then what are we playing today? Okay, we're playing Metallica. Oh no, our vocalist can't do it. We need to be 3 notes lower. And everyone goes, well, how are we going to do that? And you go, don't worry, I got a pedal. Is it starting to make sense to you now? And then somebody says, actually, I need to be up a note if possible. And everyone moans because now they've all got a tune up. And you go, don't worry, pedal. So I hope some of that makes a bit of sense for you guys, and maybe sheds a bit of light as to why I personally really love this pedal and recommend it to people. But you have to get into the world of GK to really take this guy for, you know, for all it is. Because if you're just going to use it for distortion and stuff and no alternative tuning, it's a waste. Then just get a GT Core or GT or one of those new GX, the small ones. Those are cool as well. But for me, I finally have a pedal that's got the alternative tuning, supports the GK, has the sound of the GT and the GX, and I can load my own impulse responses. So I am super happy. Anyway, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I know that this is probably just a massive waffle video for some of you, but for me, I felt like I just wanted to share this with you because it's hard to showcase just why this pedal is so cool. But I've been using this technology now for years, and when this pedal came out, I literally was like, I have to get one because this could change everything. So thank you again for tuning in. It'd be really appreciated if you would hit the like and consider subscribing if this is the kind of videos you enjoy, just talking about gear, You know, this isn't one of those YouTube channels where it's like, guys, check this out. This is a very casual place where we talk about gear. And I like to just show ideas and tips and things that I discover. Maybe you can hit the like button as well while you're there. Share this with some of your friends who might be interested. And if you have any questions, down below. And thanks again. I will see you guys in the next one.